Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dead Rabbit Radio. I am your host, Jason Carpenter. I'm having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too. The Discord server is blowing up. We had 40 people jump on probably within the first half hour to hour of announcing that we have a Discord server. I recommend you guys check out the show notes. It's really cool. It's a really cool place for you guys to communicate with other listeners of the show. A lot of cool friendships were born last night, I believe. I got another piece of fan art from Twitter user 9. It is a mashup of Dead Rabbit and Bloody Mary, which 9 said it was their favorite episode so far. So I'll have that in the show notes as well. Go ahead and check that out. It's just a really cool community. You guys are awesome. You guys are really, really cool, and I appreciate having such awesome friends listening to the show. So let's go ahead and move on to our first story. Our first story, imagine you're walking down the road late at night, and you're not in the boonies. You're not in the middle of nowhere. You just left a bar. You just had a good time with your mates. You're in America, so you just had a good time with your friends. And you're leaving a bar. You're a little tipsy. A little wobbly as you're walking down the street. Seeing little pink elephants dancing around in front of you. Little pinko dancing around in front of you. But you don't want to drive, so you're like, I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to walk. I'm a little wobbly, a little unstable. It's 3 a.m. And you start to hear footsteps behind you. You turn around, you see someone walking, you don't really think anything, but then you hear, and right when you turn around, he grabs you. 3 days later, your family and friends find you floating down the river. Now, I guess that's probably not the most entertaining and uplifting way to start this story, but that's the theory that's going on. Not that you are being thrown in a river, but so between the 1990s and 2008, 2 retired police detectives investigated over 250 bodies of young men. Sorry if you were a woman listening to that part, but you're not in the statistics. 250 bodies of young men found in waterways across 11 states. And these 2 detectives dubbed this phenomenon the Smiley Face Killer, or Smiley Face Killers. So they call it that because where the body is either found or where they believe the body was dumped, there is a spray-painted smiley face on the wall. This is a conspiracy theory that's been going around for a long time, and when it first came out, I was like, oh my god, this is terrifying. Basically, a network of serial killers are hunting down these men, and the men do fit a pattern. They tend to be white, they tend to be very athletic, kind of the cream of the crop of their class. They're college-educated guys, very fit, probably handsome. Probably would make me question things. And so the police were saying, these 2 detectives actually were saying that these guys fit a pattern, which makes us think it's a serial killer or a group of serial killers. And the theory has broadened out from there. The last time I read an interview, one of the detectives was saying, yes, there's a group of serial killers and they communicate via the deep web and they kind of assign targets. And one of the reasons why they may be picking these people is to lash out at the best of the best. Like, they're going after the top dogs of the school. These aren't random events. Now, the reason why it's a conspiracy theory is almost every local police department has said, that's not true. We investigated this. We know what to look for. This was an accidental drowning. This was someone who was drunk, stumbled out of a bar. Because that's the pattern, too. It's usually late at night and the subject is intoxicated. It's usually in a downtown area with a waterway. It's not like you're walking through like a gully and someone pushes you into a creek. Like you're in a populated area when this happens. They're saying, listen, these people are it's unfortunate, but these young men are out partying, they get drunk, fall in the river, and they die. It's very, very common. Now, so when I first heard about the Smiley Face Killers, again, I was like, oh my god, this is terrifying. But as time went on, and there was really the only real development of note has been one of the cases of the 250 was changed to a homicide. One. I was like, it's probably not. We've never seen a network of serial killers, at least one that's really been caught. We've had cults kill people, but nothing that could span decades and stuff like that. So I go, that's a little iffy. The smiley face thing, the pushback on that is, there's smiley faces everywhere. And there's no limit to, like, if they find a body here and then they find a smiley face a mile upriver, does that count? What if they find it a mile downriver? Does that count? Like, what's the gauge? Like, a lot of skeptics have been looking into this. Like, they're saying the two detectives, their investigation methods are fairly sloppy. They're in it for the money and stuff like that. Another one of this was interesting. Drunk people tend to walk downhill. I think it's interesting when people like psychologists or scientists in general can chart a behavior. They say people who are drunk tend to prefer to walk downhill because it's easier, which I actually think it's harder, but I guess walking uphill drunk, I mean, I'd rather just walk straight, but I guess if you didn't have that option, this is the working scenario. These men leave bars, they're drunk, and they walk downhill and fall in the water. Or they're trying to pee, they're like relieving themselves, they fall in the water, or they're just walking a straight line and they fall in the water. There's all accidental. There's actually this phrase I came across researching this called auto-assassination. It's a term meaning people who engage in risky behavior. And that's what the skeptics are saying these guys did. They drank to excess, they were walking along a river, they may have been showing off or doing something stupid, they auto-assassinated themselves. That may or may not be true, but auto-assassination is a dope name for a band. So, when I came across the smiley face killer thing, I was like, yeah. I mean, like, I was really into it in the beginning, then I kind of petered out on it. So, when I started doing the show, I was thinking, it's not worth covering, I just don't really think there's any meat to it. So, Las Vegas Carnivore, when he sends me a YouTube comment asking about smiley face killers, I was like, well, I just think it's been pretty fairly debunked. But then, this is what I love about you guys, he sent me a new piece of information. This isn't an America thing. So, again, it could simply be that people are leaving bars drunk in other parts of the world. It's definitely possible. We have the smiley face killers that are spread out across the 11 states in 20 years, so it would take this huge network of killers to really pull this off. In England, they had to one-up us. They have something called the Manchester Pusher. So there's the city of Manchester. This is insane. There's the city of Manchester that does have this huge waterway in it. Apparently. I don't know. I've never been there. And that city counts for 1/3 of all drowning deaths in the country of Britain. Massive amounts of people are drowning there. 61 deaths in 6 years of drowning. If you go to Greater Manchester, the number's up to 86 deaths in 6 years. So you're thinking, well, that's not as much as 250, but you had 250 over 20 years versus 86 in just 6 years in this one area. Now, Amsterdam has a similar problem, but they actually ran a big... I'm going to get back to Manchester in a second, because... So Amsterdam, they have their famous waterways. They also have a similar problem. They're the ones who say it's people falling into the water and they're just drowning. 10% of the people found drowned in Amsterdam have their flies down. So they go, yes, these young men are leaving bars and relieving themselves in the river, and they fall in the river and drown. It's unfortunate, but that's what we believe is happening. They say that these incidents always happen on Saturday and Sunday nights. So again, it's a drinking thing. It's related to a bar. So Amsterdam is like, we are with America, we think it's just a tragic accident. In Manchester, though, there have been reports, there has been one report in particular of a man surviving the attack. He was attacked, he was pushed into the water, and someone was trying to hold him down and he got away, and the dude booked out. So in that country, you have someone who was drunk, leaving a bar, and got pushed into the river by another person. Is it possible he was simply panicking and thought somebody was there? Yeah, it's possible. But I think if you looked at the statistics, they should correlate across the board. To have 61 to 86 deaths to have 1/3 of all your drowning deaths in one area within 6 years, and have somebody report that they were attacked in a manner similar to how the other bodies are found, raises a lot of questions. And the weird thing is, the police, even in Manchester, are just like, no, people are just drowning. The questions are being raised, and the authorities aren't answering them. I don't know if there is a smiley face killer or killers, but there is most likely a Manchester pusher, pushing young men into the rivers, drunk and helpless, and then just walking away into the night. That was a clip from our daily podcast, Dead Rabbit Radio. Dead Rabbit Radio is available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime news. If you want to hear the full episode that this clip came from, check the link below. Please like and subscribe. And hit that little bell, too. That does some magical stuff. Thanks, guys.